Today we're speaking with Dr. Gloria Jean Moore, who is the author of The Anglo-Indian Vision. Today we are covering a number of chapters within the book. The first chapter is chapter 1, which is the early beginnings. The gospel, the glory and the gold. So Gloria, please start your snapshot with the gospel.
These were the things, the gospel, the glory and the gold, which drew the European adventurers eastwards to India in very brave voyages. The Portuguese came first in 1498 and they settled on the west coast of India, and they started their trade in spices and many other products. And they very soon realized how tenuous their position was, just clinging to that coast. In the 1500s, one of their governors, Albuquerque, decided to institute a policy of encouraging his men to marry women of the country. In the children born to those married couples, they were called the married men, they realized that this growing community would be the foundation of their trading stations and eventually their empire in India. And to encourage these legal marriages, remember they were Christians, they believed in marriage, to encourage these legal marriages, a gold mohor, a gold coin, was paid to the mother of every child born of those unions. And very soon their community with these people drawn from Europe and India grew into sizable populations. 50 years later the Dutch arrived. They went to the east coast and they followed exactly the same pattern. They encouraged their men to marry women of the country so that their numbers would be expanded. Before they even arrived in 1600, there were, let's face it, 100 years of that European presence in India. There were now Indo-Portuguese women, and there was even a Jesuit college where there were people from 10 nations, students from 10 nations. So the British arrived in 1600. Queen Elizabeth I signed their charter. And when they arrived in these tiny little settlements on the west coast, within no time they discovered that the Portuguese and the Dutch had instituted this policy, and they followed suit. And it was of such importance to them that they once again encouraged their men to marry women of the country. By now they could marry Indo-Portuguese women and settle down and raise families. And again, one gold coin was paid to the mother of each child so born. And so grew the population. In the beginning they were called a variety of different terms, but they eventually, by the time of Governor Warren Hastings, they were known as Anglo-Indian. This was the origins of our community. So for me, the most important thing was the gospel, and I think the glory and the gold, really the true glory was the gospel. I'm not interested in the power and the wealth.